So this video explains why I feel every student should consider choosing engineering as a subject to study throughout their time in school. In my opinion, engineering is an important subject in our school's curriculums. Firstly, it benefits physical and academic attributes through active learning. It also gives students a break from rote learning and regimented exam standards. It is an ideal subject for any student who likes to learn by doing. So what are actually the benefits of taking engineering as a subject in school? Well, firstly, it improves skills such as being innovative, accuracy skills, precision skills, and creative skills by having to create concepts for designs and then actually bringing these concepts into reality and making the physical product. It's also very good for mental health and well-being because being active in the classroom and communicating with others to make these designs and projects. So you might wonder, what type of subject content will you engage with if you do choose engineering as a subject? So generally there's 3 sections. Firstly, we have process and principles. In this you'll be investigating different types of materials and their properties. Then you have the processes that these metals can go through to change their actual properties. This is annealing. This improves the hardness of a metal. Then you have joining processes that metals can go through. There's permanent and non-permanent joining processes. This is welding, which is a permanent thermal joining process. The next section is the design process. So basically this is how to analyze a given brief, research and develop your own concept to satisfy this brief through this set design process, and then bring your concept into reality and make the actual product. The third section we have is mechatronics. This is all about different types of systems. A lot of these are software systems. You have computer systems, control systems, then you have electronic systems, which are sometimes physical. You'll be using them in your projects, maybe to make functioning models, and maybe, for example, a car that drives forwards or backwards. So in regards to the activities you'll actually be doing in the classroom if you choose engineering, there's endless amounts of them. First, you'll be learning the basics. You'll be marking out your piece with your set square and your punch and your hammer and your scriber and your dividers. Then you'll be moving on to actually changing the shape of the piece. First you'll be filing, and then you'll be sawing, and when you get used to that you'll be moving on to actually using machines. So first you'll be on the drilling holes in pieces. Then gradually you'll move on to the lathe, so you'll be able to change the shape of a piece while rotating it in a chuck. And then finally you'll be moving on to the milling machine. So finally, what are some of the reasons that I think students should study engineering in school? To be honest, I feel that it's currently one of the most beneficial subjects in our school's curriculums. From my experience, I never enjoyed the process of getting up early in the morning and going to school, which I'm sure a lot of other students can agree with. However, on a Tuesday morning I would have a double class of engineering, which just made it that bit easier, because I was starting the day with a subject that I liked, one that involved creating ideas and actual objects using my own skills rather than copying information off a whiteboard. Here I have some examples of projects that I did over the 6 years that I studied metalwork in school. Here we have an egg cup made out of perspex that I made on the first week of studying the subject. After Christmas it got a bit harder. I made this shovel here, which is actually a useful item just to have in the house. It's dip coated to prevent rust, however I didn't do it correctly, so it has rusted a little bit just beside the handle. Moving on, here's a project I did in second year. Very simple, a hovercraft. Has a circuit involving just a battery and a fan and motor. Here's a junior cert project. When I was doing the junior cert, they just gave you a brief and all the measurements for the pieces. So your task was just to make this project from the brief. The only bit of innovation was to make your own remote for it, which gave a few extra marks. Then fast forward a few years onto the Leaving Cert project, which is completely up to your own concepts. You design a brief and you create a design for a project. The year I did it, it was an aeromobile, which is basically a flying car. Here's a video of what I made. It had to have retractable wings, a motor to move forward and backwards, and a propeller. Here's the remote in the corner. You can't see it fully, but it did have all the features outlined in the brief.